Hello and welcome. It has been such an honor for Mindy and myself to guide you this week as you have clarified your vision, identified your writing goals, created a plan of action, and today we're going to take a few moments to talk about what it looks like to show up for your writing life. So, we're going to go back just a little bit and discuss what's the big deal about planning? Why are they so obsessed at Flourish Writers about planning? And what is this concept called 90-day planning? This information might be familiar to you, but I think it's always a great reminder, even if it is. And then we're going to end our time together this week talking about how you can actually show up, be present, be intentional with your writing life so that you can get the message that you have on your heart out of your mind and your heart and into the world. Psalm 90:12, one of our favorite scriptures here at Flourish Writers, tells us to number our days, teach us, right? As the psalmist said, to number our days that we may gain a heart of wisdom. We've identified so many scriptures in God's word that really point us to the importance of being a vision seeker, the importance of inquiring of the Lord, and even the importance of planning, right? So that's what the psalmist is saying here. Help me know what to do with my life. How do I organize my day? What do you want me working on? So that I might gain a heart of wisdom. And in the Proverbs, it says that we will gain a heart of wisdom and knowledge with that he is calling us to do. So, why is planning so important? We've gotten into the nitty gritty of planning and of vision setting, but I kind of want to go back to why this is very foundationary here at Flourish Writers. Planning provides clarity, and you're going to hear us say that word often, clarity. It is a crucial word. Without clarity, we won't make progress. Let's just call it what it is. We are not going to make progress on our goals, on our getting our message out. But with clarity comes focus. How many times have you felt distracted? Have you felt that you're kind of feel aloof or lost? Right? It's because we're losing focus because we lack clarity. So they build on each other. Planning helps us to make steady progress. Little by little, your steps add up, right? And it also gives us freedom. And you might say, well, why freedom? It helps us know when to say no. It helps us know the difference, how to kind of discern and evaluate the difference between what is good and what is best. And so it is just really important. And that's why we always set intentional time in the year, just like we're doing right now, to plan. But also, as we're going to talk about here shortly, about a way of being intentional and showing up to your writing life, is a lot of it is about planning. But most of all, there is a concept that we love to teach, and it's the concept of context switching. And when I first learned this from Todd Herman, it blew my mind. I was just so taken aback, and a little convicted. And sometimes we need a little conviction. So planning helps alleviate context switching. And what is context switching? So studies have shown that when you are able to focus on one task at a time, which, you know, let's get real, it's not always realistic. However, you are 100% of your productive time is available. If you are juggling more than one task, you actually lose productivity time to that what's called switching, the context switching from just going from one task to the other. You lose about 20%. If you're juggling more than 3, you lose 40%. So I remember when I learned this, I was like, yikes. And so this information is not meant to discourage us. Sometimes, knowledge can be very powerful in that information, right? We can do something about it. And so it's not always realistic to, only focus on one thing at a time. We all lead very busy lives and we're in busy seasons of life. However, when it comes to planning, okay, we're talking about this in the context of planning a project or planning a goal that we have, we will find that if we can stay focused on certain aspects of that project and not just be juggling all the things, right? Doing all the things. I want to write a book. Okay, I'm going to tackle all the steps at the same time. It will actually allow us to be clear, to make steady progress, to stay focused. So most workers, and this was, a study that was done for those kind of in a corporate setting, but I think it really pertains to us all. We juggle 5 tasks at the same time. And I don't doubt this. But because of this, we're losing 80% of our productive time. And we often hear many in our community that aren't making the progress that they desire. So one of the things we evaluate with them is, well, what are you working on? What are the aspects of this project that you're working on? And can we evaluate what is important right now and what's not important, right? That going back to that freedom. So why 90-day planning in particular? So I hope that I convinced you on the importance of planning. You may find that you are not a natural planner, but it is again, there's such fruit and benefit to it. And there are ways, even as someone that is more of a pantser, as they call it, versus a planner, there are ways to tweak and make planning work with the way that God designed you. And that is perfectly okay. One thing that we highly recommend is 90-day planning. And it's the way that we have functioned here at Flourish Writers. And it's really the practice that we teach. Studies show that those who strive for 6 and 12-month goals or anything, right, long-term goals, are more likely to fail due to our natural tendency to overestimate. We see this all the time. What we can achieve when given longer periods to work in. When our goals are not met, it causes feelings of discouragement and self-doubt, which perpetuates into long periods of inaction and procrastination. So I'm sure there are some of you right now saying, yep, that is me. So when it comes to our natural motivation towards achieving anything, right, any goal, 90 days acts like a perfect horizon line to the mind, making it the optimal length of time to keep our motivation high while working steadily toward achieving something impactful. So right now I'm working with a student that is she's working on a massive project. It is her PhD dissertation. And it is so massive even for me to wrap my head around. So one of the first assignments I had her do was create a timeline for only the next 90 days. And so within this timeline, she's identifying the kind of the phases within the next 90 days of this project, but also milestones. So these little mini milestones actually are serving as like these horizon lines within the 90-day horizon line because the fact that this is a very hard and overwhelming project for her, there is something that she can kind of keep her eye focused on that is like right there. So when your mind can see the outcome you're striving towards, the intensity of your motivation increases. And we all need that. It creates a natural sense of urgency and momentum over the days and weeks in your 90 days. Knowing what to focus on now and what to hold off until later really can mean the difference between success and burnout. 90 days is short enough to not create overwhelm, but long enough to make real traction. And so when I learned this through Todd Herman, he is the author of 90 Day Year. I never have I planned any differently since then. It really it made such complete sense to my mind that yes, we all, our natural tendency is we all need to be able to see. It comes back to that clarity. When we can see where we're headed, when we can see kind of the, not just the end result, because many of the things we're working on are not going to be accomplished in 90 days. But if we can give ourselves a task, something that is achievable in those 90 days, right, and create that momentum towards that, that is how we make progress. So, right, we talked about this progress, and it is from vision to action. It always starts at having a clear vision from the Lord, a vision as to specifically what we're to be working on within the message that He has on our hearts. And then we get more granular with regards to the actual nitty-gritty action steps that it is going to take so that we can achieve that vision. The foundation of your writing life is built on three things. And this might be a little bit of a refresher. Again, the core, at the core, it's the vision. Then you bring in the practice. This is the doing, right? So this is the planning, the the action steps, the executing, right? The nitty-gritty. And then it's on with that, our mindset is so important. We talked this week about those limiting beliefs, those hindrances and blocks that can come in the way. So the foundation is built on a healthy mindset, right? So we've got to stay connected to God's word. We've got to be able to identify those limiting beliefs. We got to be able to discern kind of what maybe frustrations or might be telling us. We got to do the hard work, and then we've got to make sure that we're always revisiting that vision. And so this is what the writing life looks like. This is how we make progress and we get that message out of our hearts and into the world.